How to reprogram your mind to attract unlimited riches and wealth. They told you that money was the root of all evil. They conditioned you to believe that wanting more was selfish, that dreaming big was unrealistic, and that riches were reserved for a select few, not for people like you. They never told you the truth. That wealth is not found in your bank account, but in your belief system. That abundance is not created by the grind alone, but by the frequency you vibrate at. That every fortune, every kingdom, every empire ever built began in the invisible realm in thought. You've been living with a mind that was programmed by fear, programmed by limitation, programmed by people who settled, and needed you to settle too, so they could feel safe. But the mind is not concrete, it is software, and software can be rewritten. Today is not just another day. Today is a spiritual declaration of war, a war on poverty thing, on scarcity programming, on smallness. Because wealth, in its purest form, is the external manifestation of internal expansion. To attract unlimited riches, you must first break the chains around your own subconscious beliefs, the ones passed down through bloodlines that never broke the cycle, the ones enforced by teachers who never left the classroom of mediocrity, the ones whispered by a society that needs you compliant, broke, and numb. But you are different. You feel it, don't you? That stirring in your soul, that ache in your chest, that quiet voice that refuses to die, that voice is not Nav V. It is ancient. It is the voice that once whispered to Edison in the dark, "Shall I others?" laughed. The voice that told Ford he could build a car for the masses when the world only knew horses. The same voice that guided Carnegie, that awakened Rockefeller, that visited Disney in a jail cell of self-doubt and handed him a vision bigger than logic could hold. That voice is speaking to you now. But first you must unlearn. You must unlearn the gospel of limitation. Unlearn the rules written by the fearful. Unlearn the lie that success is for someone else. Because your mind, your beautiful, powerful, programmable mind is the soil and your thoughts are the seeds. What you plant with emotion, repetition, and belief will grow. This is not mysticism. This is biology. This is physics. This is how every multimillionaire, every billionaire, every groundbreaker in history has done it by mastering the laboratory between their ears. Your brain is the transmitter. Your emotions are the signal. Your beliefs are the compass. And wealth is the natural byproduct of tuning into the right frequency. So let me ask you, what are you broadcasting? What messages are you sending to the universe, to your subconscious, to the people around you? Because if you are broadcasting fear, you will attract reasons to be afraid. If you are broadcasting doubt, you will find evidence that you are not enough. If you are broadcasting lack, you will live in lack, no matter how much money passes through your hands. But if you just begin to reprogram the way you think, the way you speak, the way you feel when you imagine your future, you will shift the axis of your reality. See, and the wealthy don't chase money. They attract it. And they attract it because they have taught their minds to expect it. They have trained themselves to believe that riches are their birthright. Not through arrogance, but through alignment. They understand that riches do not arrive because of hope. They arrive because of clarity, intensity, and unwavering belief. So now we talk about belief, the soil in which all wealth is grown. Belief is not just a thought, it is a command, a self-issued prophecy. It is what is called a burning desire backed by faith. And faith, my friend, is not blind. Faith is not soft. Faith is the strongest weapon in the arsenal of the rich. Faith is when all hell breaks loose around you, and you still walk like you own the damn mountain. No empire has ever been built without belief. Andrew Carnegie believed he would become the wealthiest man in the world before he had a dollar to his name. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination, but belief made him immortal. Oprah Winfrey was told she didn't have the face for television, but belief made her a global force. What do you believe about you? Because until you believe in your power, your vision, your right to prosper, you will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that knocks at your door. The enemy's not the economy. The enemy's not your past. The enemy's the programming that tells you that your value is capped, that your destiny is fixed, that your ceiling cannot be broken. But belief is the hammer. Belief shatters glass ceilings. Belief writes checks before there's money in the bank. Belief wakes up early, walks into the fire, and doesn't flinch because it knows what's coming. But belief without clarity is a storm without direction. You must define your riches. You must be specific. The universe, your subconscious, your mind, they do not respond to vague. They respond to vision, clear, bold, electrified vision. What does your wealthy life look like? Can you feel it? Can you walk through it in your imagination? Can you touch the steering wheel of the car, hear the ocean outside the villa, smell the ink on the contracts, feel the joy in giving freely, generously? This is not daydreaming. This is architecture. This is how the mind is reprogrammed through repetition, clarity, and vivid emotional imprinting. The people who live extraordinary lives are not lucky. They are deliberate. They write their future in detail. They hold it in their mind until the universe has no choice but to catch up. You must do the same, because if you don't give your mind a clear destination, it will return to the past. It will pull from old files poverty, lack, guilt, shame, and you will relive yesterday's struggle and tomorrow's opportunities. So sit in the stillness and ask, what does wealth mean to me? Not just the numbers, but the feeling, the lifestyle, the impact, the legacy, the version of yourself that is free, not just from bills, but from fear. Once you define it, you must feel it, not one day, not someday. Now you must feel rich before the world agrees with you. That is the secret. You must become the frequency of the thing you desire before it arrives, because riches do not come to the needy. They come to the ready. And readiness is a mental state, not a financial one. Riches come to the mind that is already living in abundance. It is not the mind that is begging, waiting, or hoping for a miracle. You don't beg for sunlight. You simply walk into it. You don't plead for oxygen. You breathe it in. The same goes for wealth. You align and you receive. But alignment is not passive. It is work. It is discipline of thought. It is mastery over self-talk. It is vigilance over what you allow to enter your mental kingdom. You must become the gatekeeper. No more letting old stories rent space in your palace. No more hosting pity parties for your limitations. No more speaking poverty with your mouth while praying for abundance with your heart. Words are not just noise. They are code. They carry intention. They shape reality. When you say, I can't afford that, your subconscious nods and says, understood. You are not someone who has. When you say, I always struggle with money, your brain turns it into a script and runs it on repeat. But when you shift your language, even before you see the evidence, you begin the reprogramming. You speak as if. You walk as if. You decide as if you were already rich, not with arrogance, but with certainty. That's the key. Certainty. Not the certainty of ego, but the certainty of principle. You become certain that wealth is yours because you understand it is governed by law, not luck. You understand that thoughts are magnets. That emotion is the fuel. That repetition is the rewiring mechanism of the brain. That action, bold, unapologetic, aligned action, is the bridge from vision to manifestation. You must act. Because the mind is not only reprogrammed in stillness, it is reprogrammed in motion. You don't think your way to riches. You act your way into alignment. The vision must be married to movement, and movement must be married to purpose. Now let's talk about purpose, the hidden currency behind every fortune. Purpose is the engine. It is what transforms effort into momentum. It is what keeps the fire lit when the results haven't shown up yet. It's what gave men like Edison the will to fail 10,000 times and still rise like it was the first attempt. It's what made Carnegie build empires not just for steel, but for legacy. Purpose is why some scratch and claw for survival, while others rise like they were born for greatness. Because they were. You don't attract riches for the sake of having them. You attract them because they are the tools of your purpose, and when you align your mission with your gifts, with your values, with your highest truth, the world makes room for your wealth. Purpose-backed wealth is unshakable, because it's not just about money, it's about meaning, and meaning multiplies power. So what is your purpose? Not the one you think sounds good, not the one society sold you, but the one that haunts you when you're alone, the one that excites and terrifies you, the one that if you followed it relentlessly would elevate the lives of millions and make you rich in every possible way. Find it, name it, feed it, and then build your discipline around it. Discipline is how wealth becomes permanent. Without it, you become a one-hit wonder. With it, you become unstoppable. Discipline is not restriction, it is liberation from chaos. It is the structure that allows your brilliance to shine without distraction. Every wealthy mind has a fortress of discipline around it. They don't wake up and see how they feel. They wake up and command the day. They don't scroll through noise. They feed their minds like athletes feed their bodies with precision and purpose. You must become a disciplined steward of your time, your thoughts, your habits, and your energy. That is how the rich stay rich and how the poor stay poor. Poor minds chase dopamine. Rich minds chase destiny. Every choice is a vote for the future you, a vote for wealth or poverty, a vote for power or passivity. So vote with your habits, vote with your morning rituals, vote with your calendar, vote with the people you allow into your mental space, because you become what you are most consistently exposed to. You must surround yourself with greatness mentally, emotionally, energetically. And if you can't find that circle in the physical yet, build it in your imagination. Wayne spoke of the invisible counselors, an imagined table of advisors including Lincoln, Edison, and Wayne. He met with them each night in his mind, studied their traits, absorbed their character, and let their genius seep into his subconscious. That is the power of mental association. If you want to attract riches, begin associating with the rich. Even if only in your imagination, study their words, watch their movements, embody their psychology, because what you immerse yourself in becomes you. This is not mimicry. This is mental conditioning. And conditioning is how your nervous system begins to expect more rather than shrink at the sight of wealth. But as you rise, you must also practice gratitude. Gratitude is the energetic glue that binds it all together. Without gratitude, riches become a prison. With gratitude, every dollar feels divine. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's missing to what's moving. It raises your frequency. It reorients your subconscious to seek expansion instead of lack. And most importantly, it ensures you never forget where the real power comes from within. Be grateful for the vision, even if it hasn't arrived yet. Be grateful for the lessons, especially the hard ones. Be grateful for the contrast, because it taught you what you truly desire. Gratitude is not passivity, it's power. It's wealth consciousness in its purest form, because a grateful mind is an open mind. And an open mind is a fertile field for the seeds of wealth to take root and multiply. So as you reprogram your mind, as you choose new beliefs, as you imagine your future and walk in alignment with it, anchor it all in the deep, humbling, electrifying force of thankfulness. Thankfulness that you are waking up, that you are breaking the chains. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble upon the misadventure. You were called to this moment, summoned by a higher version of yourself that refuses to die quietly. And now that version is waking up inside you, not as a whisper, but as a roar. Because there comes a time in every person's life when they must choose to remain asleep in the comfort of limitation, or to rise with trembling hands, maybe, but to rise nonetheless and claim the riches that were always waiting on the other side of belief. And if you are still here, still listening, still breathing in these words like oxygen, then you already made your choice. Now it's time to embrace the next trait of every wealthy mind, resilience. Because once you begin to reprogram your mind, once you start moving toward wealth with clarity and purpose, life will test you. Not because it wants you to fail, but because it wants to know if you're serious. Every setback, every delay, every obstacle is the world asking, are you ready for the next level? And your answer must be yes, even when the evidence says otherwise. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He lost elections. He lost children. He lost business after business, but he never lost faith. He was forged in the fires of adversity, and that's why his legacy still echoes centuries later. Or Thomas Edison, who failed by some counts over 10,000 times, but was it failure or was it preparation? You see, the poor mind interprets resistance as rejection. The rich mind interprets resistance as refinement. It is not the lack of struggle that makes you rich. It is how you show up in the struggle. Every challenge is a sculptor, chiseling away your weakness, refining your clarity, tempering your resolve. Do not run from it. Stand in it. Face it with eyes wide open and declare, this is the price I pay for power, and I pay it gladly. Because the truth is, wealth is not for the fragile. It is for those who refuse to quit, who learn from every misstep, who rise smarter, harder, hungrier. That's the next step in reprogramming. Learning, constant, obsessive, never-ending learning. You cannot afford to treat your mind like a storage unit. It must be a laboratory, alive, evolving, experimental. Read the biographies of the greats. Study their thought processes. Reverse engineer their decisions. Immerse yourself in wealth psychology until it feels like your native language. Because success leaves clues, but only those who train their eyes can see them. The poor mind says, I already know. The rich mind says, what else can I learn today that will expand me? Learning is the mental gym of the wealthy, and repetition is the personal trainer. You must repeat your affirmations, repeat your visualizations, repeat your actions. Not until you're tired of them, but until they're encoded into your identity. That's how the mind gets reprogrammed. not through one moment of inspiration, but through daily deliberate immersion in wealth, conscious patterns of thought and behavior. Eventually it becomes automatic. You stop fighting your old programming because it's not there anymore. You replaced it. You stop wondering if wealth will come because it's already arriving. You feel it. You see the signs. You are different. And because of that, your world begins to rearrange itself around your new inner state. And then something powerful happens. You begin to attract not just money, but opportunities, people, ideas. Doors swing open where once there were only walls. Connections click like a divine orchestration. And you know deep in your soul that it was never about luck. It was alignment. You aligned your thoughts. You aligned your actions. You aligned your emotions, your energy, your identity. And in that alignment, wealth flows. Not in trickles, but in waves. Not as a visitor, but as a resident. You're not chasing anymore. You are magnetizing. This is the ultimate state, the culmination of all the work. And it's here that you must protect your mind with even greater intensity, because success can make you complacent. And complacency is the silent killer of abundance. You must stay sharp, stay hungry, stay committed to the principles that brought you here. Because wealth is not a destination, it is a dynamic state of being. And just like a flame, it must be fed with vision, fed with purpose, fed with action, fed with discipline, fed with gratitude, fed with the unwavering belief that you are a powerful co-creator of reality. This is how you reprogram your mind. Not in a weekend, not in a seminar, but in the furnace of daily choice. You do not dabble in this. You devote, you rise early, you speak powerfully, you walk purposefully, you think intentionally, you give generously, you move like you were born to build legacies because you were. You were not born to struggle endlessly. You were not born to apologize for wanting more. You were not born to play small so others could feel comfortable. You were born to rise, to lead, to prosper, to inspire. Your wealth is not just for you. It is for the people watching you, the people who will follow your lead, the people who will break their own chains because they saw you do it first. This is a ripple effect, a revolution, and it begins in your mind. You must now decide, will you return to the old programming, the small thinking, the fear, the excuses, or will you walk forward, eyes open, shoulders back, into the life that's already been waiting for you? Because the truth is, you were always wealthy, long before the dollar showed up, long before the status, long before the applause. You were wealthy the moment you stopped borrowing your identity from the world and reclaimed your power from within. You were wealthy the moment you said, no more living on default, no more autopilot, no more average. You were wealthy the moment your thoughts shifted from scarcity to sufficiency, from desperation to direction, from hoping to knowing that the only thing standing between you and unlimited riches was you. Not your past, not your parents, not the economy, you. And that's the most empowering truth you'll ever encounter. Because if you created the old program, you can write the new one. You can uninstall the beliefs that told you money is evil and replace them with the truth. Money is a mirror. It reflects who you are being. If you are being courageous, focused, faithful, driven, generous, money comes to you like a river drawn to gravity. Because it recognizes you, it recognizes itself in you. You are no longer waiting for the conditions to be perfect. You are no longer asking permission. You are no longer pretending to be smaller than your soul knows you are. You are now stepping into the rarest of mindsets, the 1% of the 1%, the wealth attractor mind. This is the mind that takes full responsibility, the mind that chooses wealth again and again, no matter what it looks like today, the mind that knows the vision will outlive the circumstances, the mind that has already received. Even before the evidence appears, you will start to notice something strange, beautiful, and undeniable. Synchronicities. People showing up at the right moment. Ideas dropping into your mind like divine whispers. Doors opening with no explanation. Clients reaching out. Mentors arriving. Opportunities unfolding so fast it almost feels surreal. But it's not magic. It's alignment. It's the law returning to you what you have demanded with faith, backed by discipline, driven by purpose. You are no longer just working hard, you are working in harmony with universal principles. That's when wealth flows with velocity, because the river no longer meets resistance. You've cleared the debris of fear and self-doubt. You've broken the dam of procrastination, and now the floodgates open. And as it flows, you expand, not just in bank accounts, but in soul. Not just in possessions, but in perspective. You begin to see money for what it truly is, a tool, a magnifier, a force for good in the hands of the awakened. You begin to use your wealth to build, to bless, to create, to elevate. You reinvest it into your dreams. You multiply it with intention. You pour it back into the lives of those you're meant to uplift. Because true wealth is not accumulation. It is circulation. It is not about what you can get. It's about what you can give without ever fearing lack again. Because you know whatever you give returns multiplied. Whatever you release returns in waves. That is the rhythm of the wealthy mind. It gives, it grows, it glows. It walks into every room with an energy that says, I am not chasing anything. I am attracting everything that's already mine. And now, so are you. So here is the final truth. You don't need more time. You don't need to be more ready. You don't need to wait for another sign. This is the sign. This is the awakening. This is the breaking of chains. This is the day your old identity dies and your new destiny begins. The person you were yesterday is gone. The one you were pretending to be erased. The struggle you thought was permanent dissolved. From this moment forward, you no longer think like the poor. You no longer act like the afraid. You no longer speak like the doubter. You are wealth. You are power. You are divine potential in motion. You are a magnet for miracles. You are the architect of riches. You are the force that changes generations. You are the proof that wealth is not just possible. It is inevitable. Because you have done what most never do. You have reprogrammed your mind. You have declared a new standard. You have crossed the threshold. Now go and live it. Walk like it's already yours. Move like the doors are already open. Speak like the money is already flowing. Give like abundance is endless. Work like destiny is pulling you forward. And believe, and with every breath, that the universe is conspiring to bless you, not someday. Now, you must keep in mind the following. Repetition is the sculptor of your destiny. You will not become what you visualize once. You will become what you visualize consistently, daily, obsessively, until your brain starts adjusting your behaviors, your standards, your environment to match that inner self-image. That's not magic. That's biology. So listen this lesson again and again and again until it gets installed in your brain and in your subconscious mind until you realize the results you seek. The secret I am about to share with you tonight has transformed countless lives, and it will transform yours if you will but listen with an open heart and an awakened mind. What you really want is not separate from you. It is not something you must chase, pursue, or earn through struggle and hardship. What you really want already exists within you as a seed of possibility, waiting only for the proper soil of your consciousness to bring it forth into your physical world. You see, most people approach manifestation backwards. They look at their current circumstances and try to figure out how to change them through physical action alone. They exhaust themselves in endless doing, never realizing that all creation begins in consciousness, in the invisible realm of imagination and feeling. They work from the outside in, when the true secret is to work from the inside out. The truth I want you to grasp tonight is this: your imagination is the workshop of God within you. It is not merely a faculty for daydreaming or idle fantasy. Your imagination is the creative power of the universe expressing itself through you. When you learn to use your imagination correctly, you become the author of your own experience, the sculptor of your own destiny. But here is where most people stumble. They confuse imagination with wishful thinking. They confuse hope with faith. They confuse wanting with having. These are not the same thing, and understanding the difference is crucial to your success in manifesting what you really want. Wishful thinking says, I hope this will happen. Faith says that is already done. Hope looks to the future with uncertainty. Faith accepts the present reality of your desire fulfilled. Wanting acknowledges the absence of what you desire. Having assumes its presence and reality now. Tonight, I want you to understand that what you really want is not something you need to get. It is something you need to accept. It is not something you need to become. It is something you need to recognize you already are. The kingdom of heaven, the realm where all desires are already fulfilled, is within you. It has always been within you, waiting for you to enter and claim your inheritance. Let me share with you the fundamental principle upon which all manifestation rests. It is this: consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being, you become. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body or your present circumstances. Your consciousness is infinite, limitless, and it has the power to assume any state of being you choose. When you truly understand this principle, you realize that manifestation is not about convincing the universe to give you what you want. It is about assuming the consciousness of already having what you want and living from that assumption until it hardens into fact in your physical world. This brings us to the technique that will change your life. If you will apply it faithfully, I want you to learn the art of assumption. Assumption is the technique of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persisting in that assumption until it becomes your dominant state of consciousness. Here is how you begin. First, you must become crystal clear about what you really want. Not what you think you should want. Not what others expect you to want, but what you truly desire from the depths of your being. Be specific. Be definite. Vague desires produce vague results. Once you know what you want, you must construct a scene in your imagination that implies your desire is already fulfilled. This scene should capture the essence of having what you want. It should trigger the feeling of satisfaction, gratitude, and fulfillment that you would experience if your desire were already yours. The key to success lies not in the vividness of your visualization, though that helps, but in the feeling it generates within you. You must feel the reality of your imagined scene. You must make it real to yourself through the intensity of your feeling. Feeling is the secret to all manifestation, for feeling is the language that your subconscious mind understands. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. When you consistently imagine yourself in the state of your wish fulfilled and feel the reality of that state, your subconscious mind accepts it as fact and begins to reorganize your world to match your assumption. But here is where persistence becomes crucial. You cannot assume your desire fulfilled once or twice and then return to your old state of consciousness. You must persist in your assumption. You must live from your desired state consistently until it becomes natural to you, until it becomes your dominant mood and attitude. Most people give up too soon. They assume their wish fulfilled for a few days or weeks, and when they do not see immediate physical evidence, they abandon their assumption and return to their former state of lack and limitation. This is why they fail to manifest what they really want. Remember this, there is always a time lag between assumption and manifestation. Just as there is a gestation period between conception and birth in the physical world, there is an interval between the moment you assume your wish fulfilled and the moment it appears in your physical experience. During this interval, you must maintain your assumption with unwavering faith. Faith is not blind belief in something you hope might happen. Faith is the conscious assumption of your wish already fulfilled, maintained in the face of contradictory evidence from your senses. Faith says, though I do not yet see it with my physical eyes, I know it is mine because I have assumed it in consciousness. This is where most people stumble. They allow their senses to dictate their assumption. They look at their current circumstances and use them as evidence that their desire is not fulfilled. This is backwards thinking. Your senses report the past, not the future. They show you what was, not what is becoming. When you understand that your current circumstances are the result of your past assumptions, you realize that they have no power to prevent your new assumption from manifesting. Your circumstances are not fixed. They are fluid, changeable, and completely subject to your consciousness. The moment you assume your wish fulfilled and maintain that assumption, you have planted a seed in the soil of consciousness. That seed will grow and eventually produce fruit in your physical world, but only if you do not dig it up with doubt and negative assumption. Let me tell you about the power of revision. If dearly of die, you find yourself slipping back into your old state of consciousness, do not condemn yourself. Simply revise the experience. Go to your imagination and replay the scene as you wish it had been. See yourself responding from your desired state instead of your former state of lack. Revision is one of the most powerful techniques you can master because it allows you to change the meaning and emotional impact of any experience. When you revise an experience in your imagination, you change its influence on your subconscious mind and therefore on your future experiences. Every night before you sleep, review your day and revise any scenes that do not conform to your desire fulfilled. This practice will gradually transform your subconscious mind and align your entire being with your desired state of consciousness. The state of consciousness you occupy just before sleep is particularly important because it is impressed deeply upon your subconscious mind during the sleep state. This is why I recommend that you always fall asleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Let the feeling of your desire already being yours be the last thing on your mind as you drift off to sleep. During sleep, Your conscious mind relaxes its control, and your subconscious mind is free to accept and act upon the impressions you have given it. If you consistently fall asleep feeling grateful for your desire fulfilled, your subconscious mind will work throughout the night to make that assumption a reality in your waking world. But manifestation is not just about technique, it is about transformation. As you persist in assuming your wish fulfilled, you will find that you begin to change from within. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions will naturally align with your new assumption. You will find yourself thinking thoughts and taking actions that support your desired reality. This is the true miracle of assumption. It does not just change your external circumstances. It changes you. It transforms you into the person who naturally has what you desire. And when you become that person in consciousness, having what you want becomes inevitable. Many people resist this transformation. They want their circumstances to change, but they want to remain the same person. This is impossible. You cannot have what you have never had by remaining who you have always been. To manifest what you really want, you must be willing to become who you need to be to have it. This does not mean you must change your personality or become someone you are not. It means you must expand your consciousness to include your desired reality. You must grow into the fullness of who you are capable of being. The person you are when your desire is fulfilled is not a different person. It is the complete you, the you that has always existed in potential waiting to be realized. When you assume your wish fulfilled, you are not pretending to be someone else. You are claiming your true identity. Now, let me address a common misconception. Some people think that manifestation is about getting what you want regardless of others or at the expense of others. This is not true. When you manifest from the highest level of consciousness, what you desire serves not only you, but the greater good. The desires that arise from your true self, from your divine nature, are never selfish or harmful. They are expressions of the infinite seeking to experience itself through you. When you fulfill these desires, you add to the richness and beauty of the world. If your desire seems to require the cooperation of others, do not concern yourself with how they will respond. When you assume your wish fulfilled, you automatically influence the consciousness of everyone involved in your desire. They will be inspired to play their part in the manifestation of your desire, and they will do so willingly and joyfully because it serves their highest good as well. This is the beauty of manifestation from divine consciousness. There are no losers, only winners. What you desire for yourself, you automatically desire for all humanity, because at the deepest level, we are all one consciousness expressing itself through many forms. Let me share with you the importance of gratitude in manifestation. Gratitude is not something you feel after you see what you want. Gratitude is the feeling that magnetizes your desire to you. When you feel genuinely grateful for your desires as if it were already yours, you align yourself with the frequency of having rather than one thing. Gratitude says, I am so thankful that I already have what I desire. It does not say, I will be grateful when I receive what I want. Present tense gratitude is one of the most powerful states of consciousness you can occupy because it assumes the reality of your desire now. Spend time each day feeling grateful for your desire fulfilled. Let gratitude fill your heart and permeate your entire being. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that comes from having what you truly want. This feeling of gratitude will accelerate the manifestation of your desire beyond anything you have ever experienced. Another powerful ally in manifestation is the practice of mental dieting. Just as you are careful about what you put into your body, you must be careful about what you allow into your mind. Negative thoughts, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs are mental junk food that pollutes your consciousness and interferes with your manifestation. Make a commitment to monitor your thoughts throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts that contradict your desired reality, gently redirect your attention to thoughts that support it. This is not about forcing positive thinking or denying reality. It is about choosing thoughts that are aligned with the reality you want to create. Remember, every thought is a seed planted in the soil of consciousness. What kind of garden do you want to grow? Choose your thoughts as carefully as a gardener chooses seeds, knowing that what you plant today will determine what you harvest tomorrow. The power of your word is also crucial to manifestation. Your words are not just sounds that disappear into the air. They are creative forces that shape your reality. When you speak, you are literally calling things into existence. This is why you must be conscious of how you speak about yourself and your desires. Do not speak of your desire as something you want or need. Speak of it as something you have. Do not say, I want to be wealthy. Say, I am wealthy. Do not say, I hope to find love. Say, I am loved. Your words should always reflect the reality of your wish fulfilled, not the absence of it. This may feel strange at first, especially if your current circumstances contradict your words. But remember, you are not lying. You are speaking from a higher level of reality, from the consciousness where your desire is already fulfilled. As you persist in speaking this way, your words will gradually transform your experience. Let me address the question of timing. For many people become impatient when their desire does not manifest as quickly as they expect. You must understand that divine timing is perfect timing. Your desire will manifest at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way for your highest good. Impatience is actually a form of doubt. It says, I am not sure this is working, so I need to see results now to confirm that it will work. This attitude undermines your assumption and delays your manifestation. Trust in the process, trust in the law, trust in yourself. Sometimes the delay in manifestation is necessary for you to grow into the person who can handle what you desire. Sometimes it is because other elements need to align to create the perfect conditions for your desire to appear. Sometimes it is simply because you need more time to truly embody the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Whatever the reason, accept the timing with grace and continue to persist in your assumption. Every day that passes without visible evidence is not a day of failure. It is a day of gestation, a day when your desire is growing in an invisible realm, preparing to burst forth into your visible world. The question is not whether your desire will manifest. The question is whether you will persist in your assumption long enough for it to manifest. This is entirely under your control. No external force can prevent your assumption from becoming fact if you remain faithful to it. I want you to understand that you are not at the mercy of circumstances, luck, or the whims of others. You are the operant power in your own experience. You are the author of your own story. You hold in your hands the pen with which your destiny is written. This is both the greatest privilege and the greatest responsibility you possess. You cannot blame others for your circumstances because you are the one who created them through your consciousness. But this also means you have the power to change them by changing your consciousness. Most people are unconscious creators. They create by default, allowing their subconscious assumptions to shape their reality without conscious direction. They are victims of their own unconscious patterns. But you have the opportunity to become a conscious creator, to take control of your creative power and direct it toward the fulfillment of your highest desires. The time has come for you to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the master of your fate. The time has come for you to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to have what you want and to claim it for yourself in consciousness. What you really want is not unrealistic, impossible, or too good to be true. It is yours by divine right. It exists in consciousness, waiting for you to assume it and make it real in your physical experience. The only question is whether you will have the courage to claim it and the persistence to maintain your claim until it manifests. Tonight, as you leave this place, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Choose one desire that you really want to manifest. Choose something that would make a significant difference in your life, something that would bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. Create a scene in your imagination that implies this desire is already fulfilled. Feel what it would feel like to have it now. Let that feeling fill your entire being. Then make a commitment to assume this feeling every day, especially as you fall asleep at night. Do not tell anyone what you are doing. Do not seek validation or confirmation from others. This is between you and your consciousness. Let your manifestation speak for itself when it appears in your physical world. Be prepared for your faith to be tested. Your senses will continue to report your old reality for a while. People around you may continue to see you as you were rather than as you are becoming. Do not let these temporary appearances discourage you. They are simply the echoes of your former assumptions, and they will fade as your new assumption takes hold. Remember that you are not trying to convince anyone else that your desire is fulfilled. You are only convincing yourself. And the moment you truly convince yourself, the moment you truly feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, that moment it becomes inevitable in your physical world. The law of assumption is not a theory to be debated or a philosophy to be discussed. It is a practical tool to be used. It works whether you understand how it works or not. It works whether you believe in it or not. The only requirement is that you apply it consistently and persist in your application. You have been given the greatest gift imaginable tonight. You have been shown the secret of secrets, the key that unlocks every door, the answer to every prayer. What you do with this gift is entirely up to you. You can continue to live as you have been living, accepting whatever circumstances present themselves. Or you can take control of your creative power and consciously create your truly desire. The choice is yours and no one can make it for you. I leave you tonight with this final thought. You are not here by accident. You have been drawn to this teaching because your soul is ready to claim its inheritance. Deep within you, your true self is stirring, ready to emerge and express itself through you. What you really want is not separate from who you really are. Your desires are the voice of your divine nature, calling you to expand, to grow, to become all that you are capable of being. When you answer that call and assume the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you do not just get what you want. You become who you truly are. The power is yours. The time is now. Go forth and create the life you truly desire, knowing that it is not only possible, but inevitable when you apply the law of assumption with faith, persistence, and love.